Do 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 do. Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to my midweek live news stream where I've just got some news articles for us to have a look at and ponder about, maybe a little bit. But before we start that, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. Right, we're live on YouTube, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, is it going to come on? Yes, we're live on YouTube. We should be live on Rumble, got to refresh it 'cause it's stupid, it just doesn't want to come on. Got to press play as well for some weird reason. Maybe it'll come on in a minute. And we're live on Twitch. Yes, we are. Come on, is it coming on? Is it coming on? Come on. Rumble I'm talking to. Rumble's bloody useless sometimes, it is. They need to sort it out, though. Because it's getting this reputation for being, the big rival to YouTube. But it keeps breaking down, doesn't it? No, it's still not coming on. Unbelievable. Whatever. We might be live on YouTube. I don't know. Anyway. Windgrace is here, saying, I'm a naught. Yes, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that. Also on YouTube, I've opened up memberships that you can join for a nominal fee. I've got it as low as possible. I went lower than the recommended lowest, so I'll probably not get much out of it. So those memberships, so you'll get early access videos and members-only stuff at some point. I've started uploading some of my magical monochromes, the ones that I can upload. But I still keep getting copyright strikes. But anyway, so I've started uploading those. So anyway, and Josh Temple's here. Never fear, Maddie's here. Harpoon at the ready. You're live here. Yes, I'm live on YouTube. I've come on Rumble now, finally. Right. So we're live on Rumble as well. And Twitch. Oh, pardon me, I'm burping. It's crikey. Right, is that it? Yes. Later on, I'll upload it to Spotify and Amazon Music Podcasts. Links for the articles are in the description down below. I will put timestamps on later on. Not that many stories this week, to be completely honest, and two really sad ones that we're going to start off with. But anyway, I live in Josh Temple's heart. Lovely. Oh dear, that's a bit worrying. Anyway, but never mind. In a platonic way, I imagine. I hope. Right. Anyway, so is that it? I'm also on Facebook, X, and Instagram. Let's get all this stuff out of the way. Facebook, X, and Instagram. Links in the description. As I've linked to my two books. Come here, you bloody things. Mercury Rapids, light-hearted sci-fi action-adventure about UFOs and aliens and stuff. And Silent Predator, a short horror novella about genetically modified big cats running about in a North Yorkshire village, eating people. That's Mercury Rapids, a nice big thick book, and that's Silent Predator, a little thin one. They're on Amazon, Kindle and paperback. Give 'em a whirl. Right. Let's get on with the news, shall we? Right, first up. Is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else, is there? Oh, yes, Patreon. I've got a Patreon page as well, so go and join that. And I have a merch page as well. Links in the description. Or you can go to the store tab on YouTube, where you can get T-shirts of that nature. I've done a new design today, a thumbs up, a TOYG thumbs up. So there's that as well. Right, so news. Let's get on with the news. So here we go. First off, two sad stories. Here we go. First up, James Darren from Variety, Pat Saperstein. James Darren, teen idol actor in Gidget, which I'd never heard of before this. Anyway, singer and director, dies at 88. So, a good innings. I hope I live to be 88, but it's still sad. There he is in his heyday. James Darren, who went from teen idol status, acting in youth-oriented movies like Gidget, to becoming an actor in TV shows such as Star Trek Deep Space Nine, where he played Vic Fontaine. I got his CD. I got it from my mum. I've been looking high and low for it, and I can't find it. I got his CD as Vic Fontaine, although I don't think it says it on the cover. I've got the cover here, I found it on Amazon. This one's from the heart. I got it from my mum, because she likes stuff like that, crooners, Frank Sinatra and all them, Dean Martin. And James Darren's of that ilk. And I don't know if she ever listened to it, but I thought she might like it. Anyway, off we go. Deep Space Nine and T.J. Hooker. The only episode of T.J. Hooker I remember watching is the one where whoever the girl was in the series, I can't even remember that, got hurt somehow, and William Shatner going, "I'm going to find him and I'm going to bury him," as in the fella that hurt the girl. It wasn't Heather Locklear, was it? It was Heather somebody else, wasn't it, I think. Anyway, whatever. T.J. Hooker. And the singer and director died Monday at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles. He was 88. He looks very Bill Bixby in that younger photo. Yes, he does, doesn't he? He looks very Bill Bixby. Don't get him angry. His son, Jim Morritt, apologies for mispronouncing that, said, "Is that his actual name then? He's not really called James Darren, he's called James Morritt or something, I don't know." Said that he had been able to express his love for his family while being treated in the cardiac unit. He was a good man. He was very talented. Morritt said he was forever young. That was Mel Gibson, wasn't it? He was forever young. Morritt said he was grateful that his father had been able to embrace his signature role as the surfer Moondoggy in the Gidget movie. I've never heard of it. And that he continued to interact with his fans. Born in Philadelphia, he studied acting with Stella Adler in New York and was signed to Columbia Pictures, where his first role was in Rumble on the Docks. He went on to appear in films including Operation Madball and Gunman's Walk, before being cast in the 1959 teen movie Gidget, starring Sandra Dee and Cliff Robertson. Darren also sang the title track for the hit movie, which was based on the experiences of a teenage surfer girl in Malibu and later became a popular TV series. The Gidget theme song launched a successful singing career for Darren, who had a gold record with Goodbye Cruel World in 1961 and released at least 14 albums. He continued to appear in feature films, including The Guns of Navarone, top film, The Gene Krupa Story, All the Young Men, and Because They're Young. I keep getting him mixed up with, I forgot his name. He was in Star Trek as well. Played the fellow with the silver eyes, Gary Mitchell. I always get James Darren mixed up with him. Anyway. He reprised his role as Moondoggy in Gidget Goes Hawaiian, and again in Gidget Goes to Rome. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It is Gidget, isn't it? That's how it's spelled. Though he was tired of the typecasting by then. Moving into television, he starred in the series The Time Tunnel. I thought he were in that. So again, I'm getting mixed up with the other fella, the Gary Mitchell actor, whose name I've forgotten. Anyway, and after a brief sojourn in Italy, appearing in Jess Franco's Venus in Furs, he went on to guest star on numerous series, including Love American Style, Fantasy Island, and The Love Boat. Why did I say it like that? Love Boat. The Love Boat. Darren was a regular on T.J. Hooker from 1983 to 1986 and also moved into TV directing, working on series including Beverly Hills 90210 and Melrose Place. He found a new generation of fans in 1998 as Vic Fontaine, the holographic lounge singer on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. He is survived by his wife Evie, sons Jim Morritt, Christian Darren and Tony Darren, and 5 grandchildren. Is that it? There we go. So that's very sad. Rest in peace, James Darren. I hope I find that CD. I don't know where I've put it, but I hope I dig it out. I'll give it a listen. Right, so there we go. So moving on. It does look very Bill Bixby. Sorry, I've just reminded of Win Grace's comment there. It does look very Bill Bixby. What's the name of that other fella? I'm going to have to look it up now. I always get him mixed up with him. Don't know, actually. They don't look much alike, to be completely honest. Right, have a look. Gary Lockwood. That's it, Gary Lockwood. I was getting mixed up with him. Looks nothing like him. Anyway, never mind. Right, so moving on to more sad news. Let me just remove that a moment. More sad news related to Star Trek and Stargate. If I find my buttons. Here we go. Sticking with variety. Right. More sad news. Ndefo, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Dawson's Creek actor who lost his legs. I didn't even know about that until I read this. After hit-and-run accident, dies at 51. Crikey, younger than me. There he is. I knew him initially as a Klingon in Deep Space Nine. He was a Klingon in, I think, Way of the Warrior that beats up Garak. But anyway. Orville Ndefo, an actor who had recurring roles on Dawson's Creek and Stargate SG-1, died on August 28th in a hospital in the Los Angeles area. He was 51. Orville Ndefo's sister, Ndefo, I hope I'm pronouncing these right, probably not, announced his death in a Facebook post on Saturday night, writing, "Heartbroken at the loss of my younger brother and knowing he's finally at peace." On Monday, Ndefo shared more information about Orville Ndefo's death. Just say her brother's, then I don't have to keep mispronouncing his name. Information about her brother's death on her ex, formerly Twitter, still doing that, account, including that the actor's heart gave out in his long-standing battle against the eating disorder orthorexia. In another post on X, she wrote, "As his family, we share this news to bring attention to orthorexia's severity and in the hopes that those suffering from this devastating disease receive the compassionate care they deserve." Excuse me. Obi was known for his role as Bodie Wells on the teen drama series Dawson's Creek. I've never seen a single episode of that. His character, which he played from 1998 to 2002, was the boyfriend of Joey Potter's, Katie Holmes's older sister, Bessie Potter, Nina Repeater. Repeater sounds better, doesn't it? I don't know. He played the Jafar warrior Ragnar on Stargate SG-1 from 2000 to 2005, and appeared in other series, including Star Trek Deep Space Nine, as that Klingon I mentioned, and probably other stuff. The Wayans Brothers, the Jamie Foxx Show, Third Rock from the Sun, Angel, Star Trek Voyager, New York, NYPD Blue, and The West Wing. In 2019, he lost both his legs after a hit-and-run accident in a parking lot in Los Angeles. The actor was loading groceries into the trunk of his car when a drunk driver slammed into him, according to the LA Times. Crikey. His right leg, sorry, I read that, and his right leg was severed upon impact, while the left was shattered and had to be amputated. Blooming number. This is just so horrendous what happened to me. Why would I compound this by feeling bad about it? He told the LA Times in 2019. I didn't even have to choose positivity. He graduated from Yale University's drama school, where he earned his BA in 1994 and MFA in 1997. That's the second time I've seen that today, or in the last 2 days actually. MFA. I think, is it Master of Fine Arts or something like that? I watched a film last night, The Invitation, where the main character said she was going for, she's got her MFA or something. And I think it was something I've never heard of until now. Not in that context. Anyway, along with his career as an actor, he was employed as a yoga teacher. So there we go. Very sad. 51, no age. But orthorexia, which is a new one for me. So, anywho, very sad. Did he ever explain? Because he was a Jafar and he'd burnt off his gold System Lord symbol, hadn't he? Did he ever explain that in the series? Did he go into much detail about it? I don't know. Anyway. Josh says, when I was in high school, I looked just like Joshua Jackson, even applied to be a double for him and never got to be, so I watched Dawson's Creek a few times, but not all of it. All right. I said, I don't think I've ever seen a single episode. Same with Beverly Hills 90210. I don't think I've ever seen an episode of that either. Even though I was probably the demographic back then, when it came out, maybe, probably. I was in my, mid-20s, whatever, I don't know. Right, so let's move on to happier things. Fingers crossed. You could have been in Fringe. Yes, Joshua Jackson were in Fringe, wasn't he? That was Joshua Jackson, wasn't it, I think? Anyway, moving on to happier things. Will Smith's going to court. Oh dear. Happier things. Will Smith dragged it. This is on In Touch by Brian Norman, or Nauman. Will Smith dragged into $1 million federal court battle over box office bomb Gemini Man. And there he is. Will Smith was dragged into a 7-figure lawsuit brought by a science fiction author who claims the actor's film Gemini Man ripped off his work. Stephen Johnson of West Yorkshire in the UK. No, it's not me this time. In Touch can exclusively report. According to court documents obtained by In Touch, a man named Kissinger Sibanda sued Will, 55, Skydance Productions, Gemini Pictures, Paramount Pictures, David Ellison, and various other defendants. The suit accuses the defendants of copyright infringement. Kissinger describes himself as an American/South African national. So is it Elon Musk in disguise? He said he is an attorney and also a science fiction writer. He said he wrote a science fiction novel titled The Return to I can't even speak. What's the matter with me? The Return to Gibraltar, which he released in 2011. His suit said the book details an African-American who is cloned and used in a time-travelling program without his permission. In marketing the book, plaintiff Sibanda asserted that it would be a good fit for Will Smith as the lead. In 2019, defendants released Gemini Man, directed by Ang Lee and starring Will Smith, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Clive Owen and Benedict Wong. The film follows a former hitman who is targeted by a younger clone of himself while on the run from the government, Kissinger explained. No relation to Henry Kissinger, I imagine. Dear. My throat's very dry today. The defendant struggled to make the movie until plaintiff released his book in 2011. Thereafter, they changed the film's marketing strategy, taking themes, plots, characterizations, context and cultural subtext from the book to create their movie Gemini Man. It took them long enough then, didn't it? The book came out in 2011, whatever. Gemini Man was originally written in 1997 by a writer named Darren Lemke. The film was in development for over 20 years. The movie had various A-list stars attached to the project until Will finally signed on. The screenplay is credited to Darren, David Benioff, and Billy Ray. Kissinger claimed he shared his book idea with Will's stunt double in 2012. You reckon? Kissinger does not recall the actual name of the stunt double. The stunt double had recently returned from Cape Town, South Africa, and limited discovery can produce the name, given that defendants have all the names of Will Smith's stunt doubles on file, his suit claimed. He said he also sent a copy to William Morris Endeavour, one of the biggest talent agencies in Hollywood. In his lawsuit, Kissinger argues that the film stole from his work. And there's Will Smith with that's Ang Lee, isn't it? Don't know who that is. Is that David Ellison? I don't have no idea. Could be. I don't know. He said the publication of The Return to Gibraltar provided a fee meal for the defendants. Not only did the book detail the cultural importance of the protagonist as a black person in a cinematic form, I thought it were a book, but it explained cloning and its science in the context of a complete story. Not just ideas and facts, but a complete narrative pace and climax. In addition to the literary tool of deception in the cloned army, used against the protagonist. Interesting enough, the protagonist in Return to Gibraltar is a Harvard man, similarly to the younger version of the Will Smith cloned in Gemini Man. Wingris says, I always thought Gemini Man was based on one of those classic sci-fi stories. I had no idea what it was about. I've not seen it. I thought it was a version of that. There was a TV series, wasn't they, called the Gemini Man, with what was his name from Alias Smith and Jones. Ben, what's his face? Ben Thingamabob. Well, he had a watch, didn't he? He could turn invisible for 15 minutes at a time because he had a watch that turned him invisible for 15 minutes at a time. But anyway, the man, Ben something or other, he was called. But it's not. It's nothing to do with that, is it? In his lawsuit, Kissinger said he sent a legal letter to the defendants in 2020 but never heard back. To date, defendants have not offered any monetary settlement to plaintiff, only a $0 walkaway, he said. The lawsuit demanded $1.7 million in damages. Will and the other defendants have yet to respond. The film had a reported budget of $138 million before marketing, but only brought in $173 million worldwide. So there we go. So I suppose they're waiting for a judge to say, yes, you can go forward with discovery and all that stuff. But probably more likely they'll say, "Go away, you foolish man." But anyway, so there we go. Will it go to court? Who knows? Maybe. Just give him the money. Just give him. But then no, then they'd have to accept. They'd have to admit that the stole his idea, even though it was allegedly based on another book by somebody else. It says down here somewhere, don't it? Where is it? There, Darren Lemke. So anyway, whatever. And before, written before the book by the plaintiff. That's trouble though, isn't it? With that Hollywood and entertainment in general. There's that many ideas floating about, and that many unmade scripts that people are bound to send in ideas and stuff, or write a book that's got a similar idea or theme to something that's already floating about, in the halls of the entertainment gods. Much like Steven Spielberg's Taken. I just happened to, a bit before that came out, I just happened to send him a copy of Mercury Rapids, and there's bits in it that kind of a bit like in Mercury Rapids, but anyway, never mind. And obviously my famous Doctor Who moan that I sent a script to a spec script to the BBC. They sent it back saying we don't accept spec scripts. And then Neil Gaiman wrote an episode that had slight similarities to my spec script. But anyway, that's by the by. Can I sue the new Star Trek show? I came up with the idea as a joke. There was a fella, wasn't there, on they're in a chat recently. I can't remember which chat it was. What it were on? Were it on? Were it the Popcast guys or were it somebody else? I can't remember. But this fella kept coming on saying he had the idea for the Borg and all this stuff. Is he real? I don't know. But I didn't say anything. But anyway. Anywho, let's move on. Fingers crossed. It'll be a short show tonight because there's not that many stories I've picked. There's probably something really amazing going on right now that I don't know about. Anyway, that I've missed. Hang on. Right, next up. Right, this is from scrolling the wrong bit. This is from Collider. Chris McPherson wrote this one. Marvel's Nova series will be a blend of Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica. I presume that's Nova. Again, I'm not a comic person. I thought Nova were Glenn Close in Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought she were Nova. Or is she Nova Corps? I've no idea. Don't get it all. I vaguely recall that guy. I don't remember where it was. Yes, the fellow that was saying he had the ideas for everything in Star Trek and all this other stuff. Maybe he's real. I don't know. Maybe he really did. Anyway, Marvel Studios is once again stirring up excitement among fans. Do you reckon? This time with news about the much anticipated Nova series. Is it much anticipated? Don't know. Maybe it is. In a recent chat with Phase Zero's Brandon Davis, Marvel's head of streaming, television and animation, with an Oxford comma, Brad Winderbaum, shed light on the progress, I'm going to say that again, Winderbaum, shed light on the progress of the cosmic superhero's journey to the small screen. Wingris is talking to me. Nova is part of the Nova Corps. Oh, right, so Glenn Close might be involved. They are the Marvel equivalent of the Green Lantern Corps. Cool. What's Nova series? Well, we're just going to read about it. Following last month's confirmation from Marvel Studios President Kevin Feige that the series is in active development, Winderbaum offered additional details that are sure to fuel fan speculation. Nova is in development right now, but we are developing more than we make. This is the new Marvel, Winderbaum revealed, hinting at a more cautious and deliberate approach in the studio's content creation. We should talk about this. At Marvel, everything has a spotlight on it. We love Nova. We want to get it right. The Nova series has long been a topic of discussion among Marvel enthusiasts, particularly regarding how the character will be integrated into the broader Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, in case you didn't know. Richard Rider, the original Nova, is a character deeply rooted in Marvel's cosmic lore. And Winterbaum's comments suggest that the studio is taking its time to ensure the series lives up to fans' expectations. Oh, pardon me. I used to love watching Nova. Is that the Science Channel in America? Did they show a lot of sciencey stuff? I think it was, wasn't it? I don't think we had it over. I don't think we have Nova over here. What will Nova be inspired by? Right, with regards to covering cosmic stories on Disney Plus, I've been really inspired by what Star Trek has been doing over the last few years. That's why we hired Terry Matalas, alright, fair enough, to do Vision Quest with us, he said, referencing the recent developments in Marvel's expansive storytelling strategy. He said, who are we on about now? We're on about Winterbaum or Kevin Feige? I think it's Winterbaum, isn't it? The Nova that's being developed right now, it's an amazing ensemble piece. I shouldn't say too much, but it's like a great case of characters that's got shades of Trek, shades of Battlestar Galactica. Which one though? It'll be the new one, what it's on. I reckon. So it's going to be shaky cam. Is it going to be shaky cam? And kind of edgy. Anyway, Nova is a science documentary series. Oh, that's been on PBS. I thought it was a channel. All right. Since 1974, Michael Ambrosino created the show after seeing the BBC Two series Horizon, yes, while working in the UK. I was just going to say, that's the main science thing in the UK for many years. Maybe it still is, I don't know. Well, Horizon on the BBC. And they had another one, ITV had one, their own version. I can't remember what that was called. Anyway, Winterbaum's mention of the heated nature of Richard Rider's world indicates that fans can expect a series rich in conflict and emotional stakes. If you know those comments, you know how heated that Richard Rider world can get, he teased, suggesting that the series will not shy away from the darker, more intense aspects of Nova's story. As Marvel Studios continues to expand its reach into streaming and television, Winterbaum's insights into the development process of Nova highlight the studio's evolving strategy by carefully curating its content and taking inspiration from successful sci-fi franchises. Marvel seems poised to deliver a series that not only does justice to the character of Nova, but also pushes the boundaries of what fans can expect from the MCU on Disney+. Stay tuned to Collider for more updates. Why don't they just do Nova, as it was in the comics? Or, close enough. Why take inspiration from Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica? They didn't take, when they were doing Iron Man and all these, and Captain America, they were taking inspiration from other things. They were doing their own thing. But that's kind of suggesting, isn't it, that they're going, they're slowing down on their production. They're not just churning things out, because this is just in active development. So there's no mention of casting or anything like that, or who's going to direct it, or who's writing it, or anything. It's just in active development. So it might never happen. It might never happen, but we'll see. We will see. He's got his lights on. He's got his boob lights on. The headlamp. Got his headlamps on, hasn't he? And his Iron Man thing there, but it's slipped. His Iron Man thing slipped down. Windgrace is saying, they're not there, is thingamabobs. And they're super important. Anyway, so there we go. So that's another series to look forward, quote, to look forward to. Eh dear. I'd forgot Terry Matalas were doing Vision Quest it's going to be called now, isn't it? So, anyway. There was a film called Vision Quest. It also had another name as well. I remember because Dio did a song for it called Hide in the Rainbow. I remember because he mentioned it in a live performance. Anyway, so that's by the by. Right, moving on. Who cares about bloody Nova? Right. Star Wars Outlaws, sort of. Here we go. Gamesindustry.biz, I think. Anyway, who wrote this? Sophie McAvoy. Ubisoft's share price falls to 10-year low after Star Wars Outlaws launch. Firm's stock decreased by 10% in the 2 days after the game's release. Not good, is it? Spoilers. I bought it yesterday, but it's for Aidan for his birthday. Don't tell him. Anyway, I like Quasar more than Nova, says Wingrace. Again, I have no idea. I'm not a comic person. So I don't know who Quasar is. Sounds cosmic. Anyway, back to Ubisoft. Ubisoft stock have taken a hit following the Ubisoft stocks, have taken a hit following the release of Star Wars Outlaws, having fallen by more than 10% in 2 days. That's a bit small, isn't it? There we go. Insider Gaming reported the share price of Ubisoft's Entertainment SA fell to 15 euros and 50. Is it euro cents? I think it is euro cents, isn't it? Whatever. The lowest it's been since 2014. The firm's market cap is currently 1.99 billion euros. At the time of writing, this has dipped even lower to 15.34 euros per share, with a market cap of 1.97 billion euros. So that's 20,000 euros. Is it? Have I worked that out right? Yes, 20,000 euros. 20 million euros, sorry, it's lost. 20 million euros down. Anyway, Star Wars Outlaws has experienced a weak launch, with GfK data suggesting physical launch sales in the UK are 55% lower than last year's Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So that's like half. Sold half that Star Wars Jedi Survivor did, which I've got and I still haven't played the bugger. Anyway. However, GfK is set to release digital sales numbers for the title, and there is missing data from the physical numbers, as noted by Games Industry.biz's Chris Dring. While Star Wars Outlaws has an overall Metacritic score of 76, it currently has a generally unfavourable user score of 4.9. From the people playing it, I've been watching a couple, not for a lot, but I've dipped in and out of people playing it on YouTube. It looks quite good to me, I must admit. It looks like your typical Ubisoft open world, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry type game, you know. It just looks like one of those to me, but with Star Wars, with stormtroopers and stuff wandering about. But anyway. According to Insider Gaming, JP Morgan has reduced its sales forecast for the game by 2 million units as a result, and is now predicting 5.5 million copies to be sold by next March. Yes, I've seen somewhere that they were predicting to sell 8 million copies, and now they've reduced it to 5.5 million. It's unclear the impact this will have on Ubisoft's financial year. The publisher is off to a solid start, having outperformed its targets for quarter 1 2024 in its latest financial report. Sales were up 12% year on year at 323.5 million euros, while net bookings increased by 8.3% at 290 million euros. These results were driven by the success of free-to-play title X Defiant and pre-orders for Assassin's Creed Shadows. There we go. So I think Ubisoft will survive if Star Wars Outlaws doesn't do very well. I think all they'll do is they'll just lower its price. I think they'll just lower its price and it'll fly off the shelves. Release a few patches to fix the bugs, and I think it'll end up probably doing quite well, to be completely honest. But anyway, it's got off to a shaky start, hasn't it? And Ubisoft lost 10% of its stock. 20. What did I say? 20 million. I've forgotten. 20 million euros worth of stock gone. Oh, excuse me. That's note though to these fellas, isn't it? Anyway, right. So, moving on. There we go. What's next? Star Trek next. What's this one? Oh, yeah. Back to Variety. Oh, no, I keep forgetting to full screen it. There we go. Here we go. Back to Variety. Andre Buenahora. Jack Dunn and Diego Ramos Bechara. Star Trek announces new social impact campaign. Time to Star Trek Day on September 8th. Since when has September 8th been Star Trek Day? I thought it was in April. Or is that Federation? I don't know. Was that First Contact Day? Whatever. Oh, and there's Spock and T'Pring, the original T'Pring. Anyway. The Star Trek franchise has announced Take the Chair, Make an Impact, a global campaign encouraging fans to embrace the vision of a brighter future. The Take the Chair campaign invites fans to see themselves in the iconic USS Enterprise captain's chair and ask themselves, what would I do if I were setting the course for the future, according to a statement. April is First Contact, all right. Fans will be able to celebrate Star Trek Day at various pop-up events in cities such as Chicago, Berlin and Vancouver. The premiere episodes of the Star Trek series will be available to watch for free in a special sampling between September 7th and September 13th on Paramount Plus's partner platforms, Amazon, Apple, Roku, as well as Paramount Plus's YouTube page. I don't know why I pronounced it like that. YouTube page, Pluto TV, and the Paramount Plus free content hub, US only. Typical. Premiere episodes include the original Star Trek series, so which will they show them? Will they show The Cage, or will it be Mantrap? Who knows? Or maybe both. Star Trek The Next Generation, which will be Encounter at Farpoint, Star Trek Voyager, The Caretaker, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, they've got them wrong way around, haven't they? Emissary, and Star Trek Enterprise. Broken Bow, Star Trek the Animated Series. Can't remember what the first episode of that was. Was it the Spock one? What was it, Time for Yesterday, or whatever they call it. Can't remember that one. Star Trek Strange New Worlds, whatever that one was. Star Trek Lower Decks, Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Picard, and Star Trek Short Treks. Don't really care about them. Although I do like Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks. Right. Oh, is that? Oh, no, we haven't done. Star Trek Day is timed to the show's television debut. Oh, there we go. On September 8th, 1966. There we go. Even before even I was born. Going back. I was born a few months after that. Paramount Plus unveiled the trailer for the second season of Calling from Accounts, which will premiere on the streamer. Is this a different thing? Oh, we're on a different thing now. I think. Yes, we are. We're on a different article now. That's something else. Talking about other things. Yeah, I think we're done with the Star Trek thing now. It's moved on as the page. So there we go. September 8th, Star Trek Day. May the Federation be with you. So you'll be able to see the premiere episodes of all the Star Trek stuff for free on that day. Just not Prodigy. They want to forget about that, don't they, for some reason. What's Prodigy done to Paramount that makes it hate it so much? I don't know, it's baffling. Something's happened behind the scenes there, and it's weird. It's weird. Something conspiracy worthy. Y-Files should do an episode about it. Why does Paramount Plus hate Prodigy? Anyway, so there we go. So that's interesting, maybe. And we've also all got to think about what we would do to set a course for the future. Make it so. If we're sitting in the captain's chair. Sounds like it's chucking it down outside. I can hear rain. Anyway. Good job I didn't cut the lawn today. I was supposed to do it. I was supposed to do it last week. And I kept saying, I've got the grass to cut and all the lawn and stuff. Still ain't got around to it. I kept doing other things. Oh dear. And now I can't because it's raining. Because it's the best Trek of the modern age. Probably. Yeah. It'll be an Alex Kurtzman thing. This is too good. I must disown it and we will remove it. We will absolve it from modern Star Trek and we'll send it to Netflix where all the best Star Trek is in the UK. Anyway. Right, let's move on. So, what would you do if you were going to set course for the future? That's the question, isn't it? I have no idea. Start the eugenics wars. That's what we've got to do, because that hasn't happened yet, has it? Steve Shrives had a video, didn't it? I don't usually watch Steve Shrives videos, because he reminds me too much of Billy Crystal. But he had a video about the Bell riots over on his channel, and because the Bell riots happened the other day, didn't they? Apparently, and he said they didn't, and he was saying they've got to think of ways to update the Star Trek lore and canon to account for things that never happened in real life. And he was saying, which I agree with, he was saying, you don't do anything because it's fiction. Just leave it as it is. The eugenics wars, they're supposed to have happened in the 90s, but, they didn't for us. But it did for Star Trek because Star Trek's fiction. So don't worry about it. It's like an alternate universe. Anyway, Josh Temple says, I was born September 5th, but almost 15 years later, because you're a young'un. You're a young'un. But more of a man than I'll ever be. Anyway, right, moving on. Right, Cloverfield we're talking about next, one of my favourite films. Have we done, I think we've done it, haven't we? I think we've done Cloverfield on Magnificent Mondays, have we? I don't know, I'm sure we have. Anyway, I will have to look back. And if we haven't, I'm going to do it, but I'm sure we have. Anyway, right, it's from Screen Rant. Hang on. Stops working on my Bell Riot time change explanation. All right. Carry on. Just do your own thing. Conquer the Klingon and Romulan empires and make my own super honourable republic with warrior Pewits. What's a Pewit? I don't know. Is that what you're going to do the future? Set course for the future. Just kill everybody. And, go rampaging across the galaxy. Which sounds fine to me. That's what I think we should do. Set up the Terran Empire. This should be the mirror universe that we're in now. And set up the Terran Empire. And all that. Anyway, right. Cloverfield. Right, here we go. That's the chap from Cloverfield. Don't ask me his name. I'm officially giving up, says Joshua Darlington. Another Joshua. I'm officially giving up on this long-awaited sci-fi sequel ever happening, he says. I'm saying he, because it's called Joshua, so I'm fair enough. Since the release of the first Cloverfield movie in 2008, cinema-goers have been impatiently awaiting a direct sequel. Oh, pardon me, I'm burping again. That went down in a lump. Isn't it horrible when your liquids go down in a lump? Anyway. Oh, crikey. A direct sequel to the critically acclaimed first instalment. Hang on, Windgrace is speaking. I only started thinking about it because I rewatched the episode, and during the changed future, they detected a Romulan warbird in range, so could have been not Romulan time crap like in Strange New Worlds. Or it could have been that them doing yes, so it's all true, maybe, whatever. Oh, warrior poets. All right. Not pewits, poets. I see. Anyway, I will begin this again. Now we've got that out of the way. Warrior poets. Right. I'm officially giving up on this long-awaited sci-fi sequel ever happening, says Joshua Darlington. Since the release of the first Cloverfield movie in 2008, cinema-goers have been impatiently awaiting a direct sequel to the critically acclaimed first instalment. Yes, because I love the first Cloverfield film, my favourite found-footage film. I know I have. In 2018, he says, 10 years after the release of the first movie, producer J.J. Abrams, the cinematic Antichrist, announced that a second film was in development. However, by the way, what producer on the first one, by the way. However, it is now 2024 and audiences haven't seen any signs of development surrounding this supposed sequel. We're going to get onto the other films. I've just noticed them down there, so it's going to mention the other films that are not technically sequels, but they are connected. Viewers haven't been given so much as a concept trailer or release date, leaving us to believe that the film is unlikely to ever be produced. I once started writing a treatment, not a script, just a treatment for a sequel to Cloverfield, but set on the same day, but from another point of view. It was going to be like another found footage one, but somebody else went through in New York at that time, and their adventure. But I never got round to it, and it had just been fan fiction anyway. Windgrace is surprised they haven't made an 8-episode streaming sequel. I wouldn't have been surprised. That'd have been good. In a found footage style, it'd have been cool, wouldn't it? Although there is still no direct Cloverfield sequel, we have been given 2 other movies set in the Cloverfield universe. 10 Cloverfield Lane, which were like, it was only like vaguely connected, like inserted little things, didn't they? Because it was originally written as nothing to do with Cloverfield, and they just put little like Easter eggs in, didn't they? Essentially, and the Cloverfield Paradox again, which was more connected than I think 10 Cloverfield Lane. Particularly, it had the big monster in it at the end, Clover. Anyway, these 3 movies are standalone stories and introduce audiences to a collection of new characters who face off against the Clover monster. These follow-ups prove that the concept of Cloverfield is strong enough to create multiple stories based on the same situation. Remember the episode of Stargate Universe, Cloverdale? I remember before that came out, everybody was saying, it's going to be like a found footage, it's going to be Cloverfield, it's going to be a big monster in it, and it was nothing to do with it. Anyway, however, it is still disappointing that loyal viewers have not yet been given the chance to revisit the characters from the first and best Cloverfield movie. I think they all died, didn't they? Maybe, probably. I know a lot of them did. Cloverfield 2 looked to be confirmed, but there hasn't been an update in so long. I mean, there's a chance that they might have survived, but it looked like they got buried. Spoilers, it looked like they got buried at the very end, didn't it? Because the military essentially bombed New York to oblivion, didn't they, to kill the creature. Which didn't work because they end in there's some backwards, reverse dialogue that says it's still alive, but anyway. Windgrace says, isn't there a Cloverfield anime or something, or am I Mandela-ing again? I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't see. You got me thinking now. I've got this image of like Cloverfield monster in anime form in my head now. So maybe there is. Let's look it up. Which is what you're probably doing as well. Cloverfield anime, because it did have big Japanese connections, because they were going to Japan and all that, wasn't it? So it had those things. Did you mean Cloverfield anime? Didn't I say that? Oh, I thought I typed that. Anyway, they did a manga comic, I think. Cloverfield Kishin, a manga and cross-media tie-in to the 2008 film Cloverfield. Right. So they did a manga. It says there. What's that there? I don't know. It just looked like there were a manga by the looks of it. Anyway. Josh Temple says, give Amazon or Disney time, they will find a way to mess it up in a TV series by killing canon. Well, yeah, that's what they're doing. It's what they do, because they always want to do their own thing, don't they? Instead of just making something new and doing their own thing, they want to take a pre-existing property and ruin it by doing their own thing to it, instead of just sticking to the lore of the pre-existing property. But of course, they want to ride on the coattails of that name, don't they? But anyway, that's by the by. The original movie's director, Matt Reeves, was first asked about the possibility of a direct sequel to Cloverfield at the film's premiere in 2008. I'm going to have to check. I'm sure we did a Cloverfield in... Hang on just a minute. Where have I put it? Just bear with me. Of course, we're live. Who cares? We're live. Right. Magnificent Mondays. I just want to double check. Close Encounters, Fifth Element, Highlander. Oh, yes, I did Cloverfield. Number 9 was Cloverfield. Magnificent Mondays, number 9. Right. Fair enough. So, no, don't have to do it again. Right. I'll start again. The original movie's director, Matt Reeves, was first asked about the possibility of a direct sequel to Cloverfield at the film's premiere in 2008, where he admitted that there were talks about a possible sequel. In subsequent years, the creative team was asked regularly about a possible direct sequel to the film, but there was never any kind of confirmation. The first official announcement of a direct sequel came in 2018 from J.J. Abrams at CinemaCon, where he revealed the film was in early development and that it would have a theatrical release rather than a Netflix release like the Cloverfield paradox. He talks out of his ass, doesn't he? He just says things, J.J. Abrams. Cloverfield Redux. Is that something you've just looked up, or Magnificent Movies? Oh, Magnificent Mondays, Cloverfield Redux. Right, sorry. Yes, right. No, we've done it. We don't need another. After years of silence, I forgot. I'm going to say something. I forgot it one now. What were I going to say? That's what I'm going to say. Because I remember when Super 8 came out, people were saying this is going to be a sequel to Cloverfield. Because I think the trailer or early footage of it showed like, because it was about kids making a film, wasn't it? So I think the early footage that they showed were these kids making a film and catching like a monster on it. People were saying, "Oh, it's going to be like Cloverfield. It's a sequel to Cloverfield or a prequel or whatever." And it turned out not to be that. It turned out to be super disappointing. I hated Super 8. A film that I didn't go see at the cinema, but I think I bought it as soon as it came out on Blu-ray, and I watched it. I thought that was really disappointing. That was it disappointed me again with Star Trek. It did J.J. Abrams. Was that before or after this? No, it'll be an after, won't it? Star Trek. It disappointed me with Star Trek, and then it disappointed me with Super 8. Anyway. After years of silence, in 2021, it was finally confirmed that Joe Barton had been tasked with writing a script for a direct sequel to the original Cloverfield film that was set to be produced by J.J. Abrams. It is now 3 years later, and there has been very little news about the production. I think my treatment of a writing, I think because there's one scene in the film where you see somebody else, when they're on the bridge, the Brooklyn Bridge, I think it's the Brooklyn Bridge, when it gets destroyed by the monster. Further down, there's this crowd of people. Further down, you see somebody else with a camcorder, and that were going to be my characters. They somehow survived this Brooklyn Bridge incident as well and went on their own adventures. Anyway, but I never finished it. I forgot where I were up to. It's now 3 years later, and there has been very little news about the production. Like many viewers, I was so excited to find out what the characters have been up to since the first film. They've been dead, probably. However, as there have been 3 years since this announcement, I'm starting to lose hope of a second Cloverfield film ever being made. No, she dies in the first one because she kind of explodes. Super 8 was 2011, so we're after Star Trek then, wasn't it? There are many reasons for the delay in development for a direct Cloverfield sequel, but the main one is scheduling conflicts for the main creators of the original film to get together and plan a sequel. Although the full creative team seemed interested in making a sequel since 2008, they've all had differing opinions on the plot and storyline of the film. J.J. Abrams revealed at CinemaCon that a sequel hadn't happened yet because they wanted to create just the right idea for the film. He's waffling, isn't it? He's flanneling. Just wanted to create the right idea. They haven't even thought about it. That's what he's trying to say. Not even entered his mind until somebody asks us at a Comic-Con. Then we've got to think of something quick. As they didn't want to make a sequel just for the sake of making a sequel. Well, that's like 99% of sequels, isn't it? Just for the sake of it. The first one made money, so we'll just do another one. That's the only reason you need. Although this gives the audience hope for an amazing sequel of high quality, especially after the announcement that a sequel was in development, which it isn't, it also creates a sense of worry. If the creative differences between the team are too strong, it could be years or even decades until we get the highly anticipated sequel, if we get it at all. At least we know there's a script out there for a possible sequel, and there haven't been any announcements about the cancellation of the film. We don't know there's a script. We know that they said a fella had been given the job or something. Yeah, because Joe Barton been tasked with writing a script, but we don't know if he finished it, do we? There haven't been any announcements about the cancellation of the film. However, while this technically means there is still hope, the reality is more depressing. And there's Clover. Bless it. Or is it? Some have suggested that this isn't actually the same creature we see in other parts of the film because it doesn't look quite as big. There's like scaling differences. Because the one we see is absolutely huge and massive, and this one doesn't look quite as big. Maybe it's the lighting, I don't know. But anyway, like that one there. That's it. They get buried at the end, and there we see it. Look. Anyway, although not all hope is lost, and some viewers strongly believe that a direct sequel to Cloverfield will happen, it must be said that it seems very unlikely, with the lack of news and announcements of elements such as filming dates and locations, cast updates, concept trailers, posters, and a synopsis, another Oxford comma, as well as the lack of social media posts or any updates from the creative team. It just seems like that film has been put on the back burner. Given the circumstances, I can safely say that I won't be getting my hopes up for a direct sequel anytime soon. However, that being said, it would be nice to get any kind of instalment to the Cloverfield franchise, as the last film, The Cloverfield Paradox, was released 6 years ago in 2018. I mean, they could be making it now, for all we know. You know, it could be nearly done, because Cloverfield Paradox came out of nowhere, didn't it? Nobody knew anything about it. And then suddenly, bang, there was the Super Bowl ad, and it came on and said, you know, watch it from midnight, or something like that, wasn't it, on Netflix. And that was it. The first anybody had ever heard of it. So that might be going on now. You never know. There is so much more potential for this film franchise, and so much more that can be done with the concept and the creatures of the film. So whether it's a direct sequel or another spin-off film, I'd just love to see a bigger future for the Cloverfield movies. Yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be cool. Maybe they should have a sequel. There's a big kaiju film. Maybe after the events of Cloverfield, they've captured Clover and sort of scooped, somehow done something with all the little ones, because the little ones dropped off it, didn't they? And attacked people, and it was them that made people explode, essentially. When you got a bite from these, I think they're called human-sized parasites or something like that, they called them. That must have must have infected you with something. It essentially made you blow up, or made your heart explode, or your head, or whatever. Something blew up in you. It didn't show it in graphic detail, but you know, they could do a film about that. A bit like The Thing or something. There's some remote base that's got this big monster in, and loads of these. Which essentially the kind of the Cloverfield's version of face huggers out there scurrying about. Could have loads of them, and something happens, and they all get out, and you know, hijinks ensue. Whatever, don't know. I'm giving them ideas. So there we go. I don't think we'll see another, but you never know. As I said, Cloverfield Paradox came out of nowhere. Not that it were an amazing film, but you never know. You never know. Right, moving on. Hang on. NYS is just a walled-off wasteland, like Escape from New York. Oh, New York is just a walled-off wasteland, like Escape from New York, yes. They've contained the beast, or have they? Well, could be. They build a shatter dome around it, whatever they called it, in the Pacific Rim. Could have, what they call them, Jaegers fighting the Cloverfield monster. Or get Godzilla in. Make it part of the Godzilla universe. Could have Clover and Godzilla fighting. New York, NYC, I meant, alright. They could have seen that one, haven't they? But yeah, lots of ideas that they could use. Anyway, they could make, you know, Cloverfield and Pacific Rim and Godzilla, make them all part of the same universe. A big monster mashup. Hey, on with Quatermass 2, which we did on Friday Night at Point with Fear last week. Big monsters at the end of that. And Gorgo as well. Let's bring Gorgo back. And the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Let's just have them all. Be like the Monster Squad of kaiju films. Get them all in. And the Deadly Mantis. And, what's the other one? The one that looks the one that looks rubbish. Is it the Deadly Claw or something like that? Anywho, and King Kong, obviously. Right, where were we? Right, moving on. That's what we're doing. We're moving on. We're getting there. Star Wars next. Oh dear. This from the Gaming Bible. Hang on. And the one you did a few weeks ago. Forgot the name now. That I've forgotten as well. A few weeks ago. I can't remember what I've done. I'm going to have to check now. My stupid memory. Let's have a look. What have I done recently? Tell you, I'm bloody hopeless. Let's have a look. Scroll down to the bottom. I'm not seeing the Deep Rising. Are you thinking of that? That From Under the Sea, Deep Rising. Is that one that we did? You know what? I haven't done that many big monster movies, have I? In Magnificent Mondays. To be completely honest. Yeah, not that many. Interesting. Anyway. Anywho. Oh, what's happened here? Has Rumble gone down? Let me refresh that. 504 gateway timeout. Has it stopped working? Am I not live on Rumble anymore? I think Rumble's broken again. Told you, it's bloody useless. Anywho, like I said, we did Quatermass 2, which ended with the big kaiju monsters coming out. When they blew up these domes, these alien like monsters that could all, they were like leeches, I suppose. They could all stick together and make a big monster, and they all came out of these domes and then died instantly, more or less. Right, so what's next? Right, here we go. Gaming Bible, and there's Padme and Anakin and the twin sons of Tatooine. Right, who wrote this? Angarad Redden. I think that's a Welsh name, isn't it? Angarad. Anyway. Star Wars fans divided over Tatooine's greatest secret, plot hole, or simple explanation. I was curious, so, I usually don't read these articles, but I didn't read all of it. I scanned down to see what they're on about, and I thought, oh yeah, that never actually occurred to me. Anyway, there's no denying that the Star Wars fandom is dedicated. So it is perhaps no wonder that an eagle-eyed fan has spotted a potential mistake in Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Probably all the Star Wars films, to be completely honest. If you want to be, anal about it, but we'll get there. In a scene on the planet Tatooine, we can see Anakin and Padme talking, and their shadows are cast onto the wall behind them. For some reason, it's not showing it. Why isn't it showing it? I mean, it's readily available. I will get it. Attack of the Clones. Shadow. Images. There we go, it's this one. So, to that. And we'll open image in new tab. And then I'll just drag that over. So to show you. There we go. That's what they're on about. That Padme and Anakin. And everybody's saying, it's Darth Vader. He's got Darth Vader's shadow. That's what they're on about, right? However, we know... Hang on, am I still on? Yes. However, we know that Tatooine has two sons, so one fan has questioned why we can only see one set of shadows. Because technically, with two sons, you'd have two sets of shadows, wouldn't you? To get to the bottom of this potential plot hole, the fan took to Star Wars Reddit to ask for an explanation. No, I don't think I've ever been to Reddit. Not deliberately, anyway. Oh no, I must have done. I must have searched for something. I must have Googled something, and the answer's been on Reddit. I must have done. Anyway, is there a law reason that a planet with two suns only casts one shadow? They asked. As you could probably expect, it wasn't long before the Star Wars fans descended and offered a variety of different explanations for our shadow problem. Only one sun is in a position to cast their shadows on that particular surface at the time, one user suggested. More specifically, the sun was setting during this scene, so one of Tatooine's suns could have already set. Another fan seemingly agreed with this theory and said those suns are so close together and far away from the subject that they essentially act as one light source, so one shadow. I don't know though, because don't look that close together, do they? In that shot. To me. Anyway, but we'll carry on. Where were we? However, one fan went above and beyond by offering a scientific explanation. I just checked the episode 4 sunset that Luke watches, and the two suns are about 4 diameters wide/apart. If they are roughly the same size and distance as our sun, that would make their total width about 2 degrees, they said. So there would be at most a 4 degree of penumbra, 2 degrees on each side. Realistically, only about 1.5% per side would be noticeable, and only if the subjects were close to the wall. So, since they aren't close to the wall, the penumbra would be fuzzy, which is what I see in that image. I think he's seeing what he wants to see. Yeah. Anyway, we may never find out if this is a plot hole or something with an easy explanation, but I'm sure the Star Wars fandom will have an explanation nonetheless, and they have. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. And I'd never even thought about it until they said. But anyway. Q, the winged serpent. Oh, I did that on the Friday night appointment with Fear, didn't I? Is what I was thinking of. Yes, we could have Q, the winged serpent, appear as well. Not on Star Wars, on the other thing. In this big monster mashup. Anyway. So there we go. So, the Star Wars fans have said that Tattoo 1 and Tattoo 2, that's what they're called. I remember that from the novelisation, Tattoo 1 and Tattoo 2. Both of them going, the plane, boss, the plane. They're close enough together so that they essentially just cast one shadow. But a fuzzy shadow. Although I'm sure we see some quite defined shadows on Tatooine in Star Wars. I'm sure we do. Anyway, but never, you haven't to worry about it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Really. When all's said and done. I just thought it was interesting. And a bit of fun. Right, the Orville. The Orville next. I've not read this one, so it could be nonsense. It could be an opinion piece, that's what I'm trying to say. So, on-screen rant, Daniel Bibby says the Orville Season 4 will have a key decision to make after a big Season 3 change. Right, so I'm not going to be talking about... Oh, it's not the wedding, the marriage of the Doctor, I forgot her bloody name now already, and Isaac. God, I hated that episode. Anyway, the Orville Season 4 hasn't yet been officially confirmed, but if Seth MacFarlane's space opera does return... the show will need to decide whether to stick with a big change made in the previous run. Comments from the show's creators suggest the Orville Season 4 isn't a sure thing, but that it could still happen. Hanging in limbo could arguably be a blessing in disguise for the Sci-Fi show, as it allows more time to consider the project's identity if and when the story continues. The ending of the... Don't give them too much time, because, time can be a killer in Hollywood. Sometimes they need a bit of impetus and a deadline to get things done. Anyway, the ending of the Orville Season 3 came in August 2022, so it's safe to say that at least 3 years will likely have passed by the time of a potential comeback for the show. Season 3 underwent an interesting transformation compared with the previous 2 installments. Although the Orville began as a loving Star Trek parody, the show has gradually become a compelling sci-fi drama in its own right. And one notable change to the 3rd season solidified its journey. That being said, it may not make sense to keep that change in place for the Orville Season 4. I haven't read, so I don't know what he's going to say. Is it going to be about the... I forgot the bloody names. My brain stopped working. The 2 alien races that one were part of the Union and left and joined up with the bad guys. Them. Is it going to be about them? We will see. It'll probably tell me now. Right, so the Orville Season 3 softly relaunched the show, airing as The Orville New Horizons. While at first glance it may seem as if the show is pulling itself closer to its Star Trek roots by adding a subtitle, McFarlane has explained why this change was made. Speaking with Comic Book, The Orville's creator admitted that adding New Horizons to the title wasn't his idea, but that he was in favour of it because it had been a few years since The Orville Season 2 had concluded, so The Orville Season 4 could arguably be The Orville New Horizons Season 2. Oh, that's what I mean. Of course, I was going to see if I had to read that, but no. Of course, McFarlane is correct. There was only 1 year between the Orville Seasons 1 and 2. However, the third run of episodes didn't begin until 3 years later. That being said, the show wasn't quite different enough to warrant the title being updated, and it gives the impression of New Horizons being a spin-off rather than a direct continuation of the Orville Season 2. So I thought it was just given that's because it was on... You know, it was on a new place, wasn't it? It had moved from Fox to Hulu, hadn't it? So I thought it was like a legal thing, that they had to essentially change the name of it so that, I don't know, Fox lawyers couldn't sue them or whatever, you know. But I don't know. I thought it was one of those sort of things that they subtly changed the title because it had moved from Fox to Hulu. Anyway. So the show needs to consider whether to keep the confusing subtitle or revert to the original name. Right. When the Orville Season 4 begins, if it happens at all, the amount of time that will have passed since Season 3 will be at least equal to the years between Seasons 2 and 3. The repetition of such a length of time between instalments would undercut the initial use of the New Horizons subtitle. McFarlane's explanation made sense after the first delay, but by his logic, the next season should also be renamed. Hopefully that isn't the case, as it would complicate matters further and imply massive changes to the Orville's formula that aren't necessary and probably won't arrive. Is that it? Oh. So I won't ask it. Nothing about the show itself or the story moving forward. I was talking about the bloody title. They'll still call it New Horizons because it's going to be on Hulu again if it ever arrives. I think they only changed the title because it moved channels essentially from Fox to Hulu, didn't it? Anyway, there's Isaac, the singing pilot. Anyway, Winggrace says the title change was a Disney mandate from what I heard. Yeah, that's probably because it moved to Hulu. So Disney bought Fox, didn't they? And anywho, that's it. It'll be some weird legal thing, you know, that only lawyers understand. To cover themselves legally, probably. Right, so I thought we were going to talk about, you know, what were happening in the story, you know, like with the Doctor and Isaac and the Kalon. The Kalons joined the Union, didn't they? The robot Isaac's people. So they went from being the baddies to joining up with us and being goodies, didn't they, at the end of Season 3? And then the... they're called now. Begin with them. Can't really remember. And the others. The other bad guys, they joined up. So who's going to be building the Union's weapons and stuff? That's basically what we've got to wonder, because they got all their weapons and stuff from them. That people that are all male. Anyway. Mocklin. Yes, the Mocklin and the Krill, that's it. The Mocklin. I said it began with M, although you did it with an L. But never mind. Yes, the Mocklin and the Krill. Because the Union got all the weapons and stuff, didn't they? Well, most of them from the Mocklin, didn't they? So where they're going to get them from now? Don't know. Have to build them themselves. But will we ever see a Season 4? Well, according to Thingamabob, where is he? Where's he gone? Him. According to him, we're getting one, aren't we? According to him. Who I mostly remember being in Critters 2 as a kid, or in Critters 1 as well. Critters 1 and 2 he were in, wasn't he? As a kid. Anyway, never mind. Probably the Kalon. Yeah, well, I could get weapons from the Kalon, yes. Yes, because they had cool weapons, didn't they? Anyway, moving on. Right, finally, Star Trek. Sticking with screen rant. Full screen. Sticking with screen rant. Again, I've not read this one, so it could just be an opinion piece. Let's see. Spock's criminal brother already wants to find God in Star Trek Strange New Worlds. And there's proper Spock. And there's the back of probably Ethan Peck's head. Because it looks very Ethan Pecky, doesn't it? But that's supposed to be Cyborg, isn't it? Anyway, it says John Orquiola. It's logical to surmise that Cyborg is in a Vulcan prison in Star Trek Strange New Worlds because Lieutenant Spock's Ethan Peck brother is already on his quest to find God. Cyborg, Lawrence Luckinbill, was introduced in Star Trek V The Final Frontier as Spock's heretofore unheard of half-brother. Cyborg is the firstborn son of Ambassador Sarek, Mark Lenard, or James Frayne. Or in the J.J. Abrams one, I forgot his bloody name now. He's a British actor. I think he was in Chariots of Fire. I forgot his name. Him as well. And the Vulcan princess. Although in the book it says priestess. I've got the novelisation somewhere of that, and she was a Vulcan priestess. But in the film, for some reason, it says princess. Why would there be a Vulcan princess? It's baffling, isn't it? But anyway. Unlike Spock, however, Cyborg is a Vulcan heretic and criminal who dedicated his life to finding God in the fabled world of Shakari. Cyborg's lone appearance, Sean Connery, isn't it? That's what it's supposed to be, isn't it? Sean Connery. Cyborg's lone appearance was in Star Trek V The Final Frontier until Star Trek Strange New World Season 1 Episode 7 The Serene Squall brought back Spock's brother in a surprise bombshell. In Strange New World's time frame of 2259 to 2260, Cyborg is imprisoned at the Ankerstan Katil Vulcan Criminal Rehabilitation Centre. Ironically, this facility is overseen by T'Pring. Well, is it all over, or is it just him that's overseen by her? I don't know. She works there at least, doesn't she? Gia Sandhu, or is it Gia? Don't know. Lieutenant Spock's estranged fiancée, who is super hot. Maybe even more super hot than the original T'Pring who we saw earlier on. Whatever. Can I have you both? Buy that for $1. However, Cyborg is being held under his assumed name Zavarius, and it's unclear if T'Pring is even aware one of her prisoners is Spock's brother. As for why Cyborg is incarcerated, the clues may well be in Star Trek V The Final Frontier. And there he is. What's it going to show? There's George Murdoch as God. And there's Cyborg. Lawrence Luckinbill as Cyborg. There's what's-her-face. From the Serene Squall. She's a they, them, isn't she? A non-binary person. So, whatever. And there's Spock. And there's the lovely T'Pring. And then we're back at the beginning. Right. A clue to Cyborg's imprisonment may be found in Star Trek V The Final Frontier. After Spock hijacks the USS Enterprise, he announces his plan to breach the Great Barrier at the centre of the galaxy, which I think is the first time we hear about that. We've heard about the Great Barrier at the edge of the galaxy, but I think this was the first time we heard about it at the centre of the galaxy. Anyway, they travel like 30,000 light years in no time at all. To find Shakari, Sean Connery, where God resides. Despite Spock's displeasure at Cyborg's actions, he tells Captain James T. Kirk, William Shatner, and Dr. Leonard McCoy, DeForest Kelly, that Cyborg is so brilliant he was meant to take his place amongst the great intellects of Vulcan. When he hears Cyborg's plan, Spock considers whether his brother may have just achieved his lifelong goal. Is it possible that he's found Shakari, the reason Cyborg left Vulcan? Anyway, what's revealed about Cyborg in Star Trek Strange New World Season 1, Episode 7, The Serene Squall, may back up Spock's deduction in Star Trek V. Strange New Worlds establishes that Cyborg had already left Vulcan and married a space pirate named Captain Angel, Jesse James Keitel, Somehow Sybok was apprehended, but under his pseudonym Zaverius. But if Sybok had already departed Vulcan, it could mean he had received the visions from God that became his quest to find Shakari. Star Trek V is a dream. Oh, yes, we talked about that before, didn't we? It's all happening at the campfire. He falls asleep after the sing row, row, row your boat, has his dream, and then they wake up again at the end, by the campfire at the end. It's all a dream. Life is but a dream. Because that's what he says at the end, doesn't he? Maybe life is a dream. Anywho. Oh, we've got more pictures. More of the back of probably Ethan Peck's head. Might not be, I don't know. There's Lawrence Looking Bill. I feel your pain, etc. Oh, this is before God Wants a Starship, though, isn't it? Because he hasn't been shot yet. He hasn't got his scars. He's got tears in his eyes. I like in Star Trek V as well, where they get there and he's kind of both Spock and Sybok are like looking at this desert wasteland and like, it's beautiful. It's just how I imagined it. And like Kirk and McCoy are looking at each other like, what? This is Eden? Because we imagine it as a garden, don't we? The Garden of Eden. And we imagine this lush landscape. But obviously Vulcan being essentially a desert planet. That's how they'd imagine it, wouldn't they? Anyway, right, where were we? Disappointingly, Sybok and Captain Angel did not appear in Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2, but they could return in Seasons 3 or 4. A formal comeback by Sybok in Strange New Worlds would logically plant the seeds for Star Trek V's events. 25 years later, Strange New Worlds could flesh... No, because it's a different universe. Things have changed. Strange New Worlds could flesh out what Star Trek V hinted at in dialogue about how Sybok embraced the passions of his Vulcan ancestors and took up the pagan belief that God resides on a mythical planet at the centre of the galaxy. It would also be fascinating to learn whether or not Sybok's wife, Captain Angel, is a believer. So many questions about Sybok remain unanswered 35 years after Star Trek V The Final Frontier hit movie theatres. Questions like when Sybok left Sarek's home after he and Spock were raised as brothers, whether Sybok also knew Spock's foster sister, Michael Burnham, Sonequa Martin Green. No, he didn't, because that never happened. and when and how Spock received his visions and calling from God... George Murdoch, you mean Sybok? Sybok received his visions and calling from God. Spock received his visions from V'ger, didn't he? Anyway, can all be addressed at last. Star Trek Strange New Worlds can finally heal our pain of not knowing the details of Sybok's life. It'd be nice, I hope we do. We've got to have some resolution. We can't just end it with just in the back of his head, can we? We've got to see something. Are you trying to tell me, says Josh Temple, that Sean Connery is not God? I'm not saying anything. But I think they wanted him, didn't they, to play God? They wanted him to be in there somehow, but he didn't do it for whatever reason. And I can't remember. I read it somewhere. Or maybe I'm Mandela-ing, I don't know. And that's why they named the planet Shakari, because it sounds like Sean Connery. Anyway, something like that. Windgrace probably told me. Hard to give resolution to everything when you have 10 episodes. Well, yeah, but, they started it. Don't blame me. They started it by putting the back of his head in it. So, it's them that began this adventure. So, they can end it as well and show us what happens to Sybok. Anyway, we'll leave it there. So, I hope they do. I hope because it's intriguing, because it was a cool thing, a cool ending where we thought, oh, that's Sybok. And, so they've got to do something, haven't they, at some point. You would think, anyway, but I bet they don't. Because it's Kurtzman Trek, after all. And they tend to forget things. They do. And then kind of remember them right at the last minute, and then it'll be in the last 5 minutes of the very last episode. They'll film like an extra scene. showing Cyborg stealing a Vulcan shuttle and leaving, heading off to Nimbus 3 or whatever. Anyway, right. So that's it. We've done now. That's it. That was the last article for today. Right. So we'll leave it there. What's coming up next? Friday. Yes, Friday. Hang on. Oh, I can't be bothered. Friday Night Support with Fear this week. We're doing Annabelle from the Conjuring universe. So that's what we're doing on Friday. So I've got that to watch tomorrow. There's a chance that I might have to postpone this week's Friday Night Appointment with Fear. It should be okay, but be aware that there's a chance I might have to postpone it. I'd probably just do it on the Saturday this week. So I don't want to push it all back, because we've got The Exorcist coming up next week and Friday the 13th. But there's a chance it might not happen on Friday, because Aidan's going into hospital on Friday. He should be in and out on the same day. It's just a little procedure, so it should be okay. But you never know. So anyway, Wingrace says, Cyborg turning around. Fine, I'll do it myself, just like Thanos. Anyway. So that's Annabelle on Friday. Next Monday's Magnificent Mondays is The Black Hole, one of my favouriteest films of all time. Love this film. And as I said, next week's, not this Friday, the Friday after's Appointment with Fear is going to be The Exorcist, because it's episode 100. I'll also be doing, because it's Friday the 13th, a pre-recorded episode, an extra one of Friday the 13th. So, anyway. Right, so we'll leave it there. Again, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell, buy me merch from the store, from the TOYG Quartermaster. Become a member, and then you'll see early access videos and stuff like that, such as my the video that I've put up, 10 funniest SG1 episodes, which I kind of don't agree with, but never mind. And I've started uploading the ones that'll work, that I don't get copyright struck for, Magnificent Monday, in Magical Monochrome, so where we just sit and watch an old film, essentially, with me in the corner talking over it and getting on your nerves. Anyway, so if I bug the book from the Amazon link, which is in, will it ship to the US? If I buy the book from the Amazon link, sorry, yeah. I should imagine so. I don't know. You'd think, with it being Amazon, I thought it'd just like go to the Amazon, the US version of Amazon. Hang on, I will double check now. Let's have a look. Bear with me. Just bear with me. Where are we? Shut up, that's me. I'm just going to looking for the link for my books. Paperback writer. Right, so that one's taking me to the GB version, obviously, hasn't it? I should imagine it will. I should imagine they'll send it to. I'd have thought it'd have, defaulted to the US version, but I imagine it will. See what happens. If it all goes hideously wrong, let me know, and I'll reimburse you. I will reimburse you somehow. You'll have to send me like a PayPal link or something, and I'll send you money if it all goes hideously wrong. But thank you anyway for clicking that link and having a go. The link sent me to the UK link. Oh, right, I see. Well, I'll try and find the American version. Hang on. Right. Just bear with me. Amazon.com. There we go, to the US version. Right. Whoops. Hey, what was it? I see I type it in, it doesn't bloody find it, does it? Dismiss. Look in books. There we go. There it is. Oh, that's on Kindle. They won't bloody Kindle, do we? Where's the paperback version? Why isn't the paperback version available in America? Only the Kindle one. The paperback one that's there, if you look on the American Amazon.com, is the original version of Mercury Rapids from iUniverse. I don't know why the paperback version's not available. Which is annoying. I will have to look into that. Let's try Silent Predator, see if that's in there. There it is. That paperback for Silent Predator's there. There we go. I'll click on that. So that's the link. I will paste the link into the chat. Hang on. I'll get them ordered this week or next week. I'll get my daughter to order them for my birthday tomorrow. Oh, crack. Happy birthday tomorrow. Why, you told us earlier on, didn't you? That's the... I don't know if it'll work. Oh, no, it hasn't worked. Never mind. The link's too long. It's a big, massive link. But anyway, if you go onto the Amazon.com and go into books and search Mercury Rapids and Silent Predator, Silent Predator's there as a paperback for $5.19. But for some reason, Mercury Rapids isn't there as a paperback. And I don't know why. Just the Kindle version. So, as I said, maybe if you order it from the UK, it might be fine. But let us know if that charge you an arm and a leg for postage and stuff. Let me know and I'll refund it or whatever. Or if something goes wrong, just let me know and I'll send you a copy signed and all that stuff. Etc. Just let me know. Let me know what happens. Send me a message on X. Send me a message DM me on X. Or you can send me an email. I think TOYG67@hotmail.co.uk. I think there's an email link on the YouTube page somewhere. Anyway, it says I'll let you know for sure either way. Right, okie dokie. Right, we'll leave it hanging in the air. This this mystery, what's going on with why the Mercury Rapids paperback isn't available on Amazon.com. As I said, the paperback versions that are there, there's two. There's Mercury Rapids and Mercury Rapids The Thoth Imperative, but not Mercury Rapids Mountains of Tomorrow, which were the original titles, because it was originally a trilogy that I wrote and published separately. And I actually sent a note off to the publisher to not publish it anymore, and they totally ignored me and just carried on publishing it, because I republished them all together as one volume on Amazon. So be careful. Don't order the ones with the different cover. There's like green and a red and a blue cover for the separate ones. Don't order those. Oh, it's up to you. You want to order them if you want, but the one that's all three in one volume has got like a UFO a triangular UFO on the cover and stars like that. That's the cover you're looking for. That's what I'm trying to say. Right. Right. So, coloured collector's edition. If you want to buy them separately, it costs a lot more. Oh dear. Anyway, right. So, we'll leave it there. I'm going to get off and sort stuff out. Right, so thanks Josh Temple and Win Grace. Don't think anybody else popped in, did they? No, they didn't. for keeping me company while I waffle on about people dying and Star Trek and other things and Nova. And we'll leave it there. So I will get back to me gaming. Probably, maybe tomorrow. It depends. Yes, you have a pleasant evening too. Probably get back to my game. So a bit more Far Cry. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see. And so we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching, wherever you are. Look after each other, and until next time, I'll see the... Where have I put the thing? Oh, it's there. I'm getting too many videos. There's in StreamYards, there's like down there on my side of the screen over there. I've got a list of all the videos that I've got in that I can play. So there's stuff like, you know, there's me, there's
Quill Wheaton,
all that, and you know.
He said it.
And etc. It's all them. So I'm getting too many of those, and I can't find my intros. But I found it now. Right, I'm going again now. So I'll see you later. Bye.